And Melvin got a painting. So we're like, where is it coming from? Who sprayed something? So we went outside. We didn't see anything. We saw the maintenance guy. We was like, are you all spraying something? He said, no. And I said, Malcolm, where is it coming from? She looked up. She said, I know. She said, I know where it's coming from. And she said, look up. And they was chemtrailing.
Chemtrails is in the Bible.
It smelled like some kind of...
It's the curse of the Most High. You can't stop it.
It was awful. We got so sick in here.
Let's get Deuteronomy 28:54. This is not the chemtrail scripture. We'll get that next. Let's get Deuteronomy 28:54 and let's read it.
So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
We see this all the time. Not just with Judah, with most of the 12 tribes.
28 what?
Deuteronomy 28:54. Alright, let's get chemtrail. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 24. The Most High said that chemtrails are going to happen. Deuteronomy 28:24. Alright, let's read it.
Ahiah shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust.
Read that again.
Ahiah shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust.
Ahiah is going to make it rain powder and dust. Chemicals. Finish.
From heaven shall it come down upon thee until thou be destroyed.
Chemtrails.
So what happened up here Thursday?
Uh-huh.
Thursday, all this white powder came down.
Uh-huh.
It was just blowing around. And I thought maybe it was a storm, but Maria went and stood at the door and her chest started burning. She had to have prayer. Whatever they was dropping over, it was like white, flour or something?
Like when they have those dust storms and it's blowing but it's burning your eyes and stuff?
No, it wasn't even dust, it was white.
No, I'm saying,
white
yeah,
powder.
that's what I'm saying. It's not dust storms.
So they didn't hit this area twice this week.
It's a curse. It's a curse. Okay? It's part of the curses. He's going to make it rain, dust, and powder. And you will be destroyed. Now we know that common sense will tell us that, okay, he's not talking about a dust storm. You can't die from a dust storm. Or utterly be destroyed from a dust storm. Okay, wake up. Everybody knows who Frederick Douglass is, right? All right, Frederick Douglass linked America to Babylon and slaves of Israel in his speech, The Meaning of July 4th for the Negro. We should not be celebrating July 4th. Let's just put that out there. It's not our country's birthday. It's not the birthday of America or anything like that. It's a satanic agenda to make the Most High angry with your fireworks.
That's what it is.
We're going to shoot them up to the Most High. We're going to kill them. We're going to get a teaching on July 4th later. All right? Let's read Psalms 137, verses 1 through 7. We're going to read Psalms 137, 1 through 7. This is what he read out of his speech. Psalms 137, verses 1 through 7. All right, let's read it.
By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yeah, we wept when we remembered Zion.
Yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. We know Zion is our spiritual home. 2.
We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. For there, that we carried us away captive, required of us a song. And they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, sing us one of these songs of Zion.
So the Negro spiritual songs, that carried us away. So where do we learn those songs from?
Bible.
We learned them from the slave master. All the Negro spiritual songs were learned from the slave master.
Well, when they came over on the Guinea Coast, when they came over on the ships, the slave masters of the ships used to make the people come up to entertain them.
Right.
So the master, one of the white guys would play the whatever the thing called. It was called, I forgot what it was called. And then the people, the slaves would dance and jump around, would entertain them.
Right.
And they would teach them what to do,
Right.
what to sing. They were entertainers.
A lot of people believe that those Negro spirituals came from Africa. No, they didn't.
They must be
Because we were singing to a high, well, let me check that back. We were singing to a high
when we first went into
when we first went in. But then we started falling off and singing to other gods. That's why we went into captivity in 1100 AD with the Africans, the African Arab slave trade. It's one of those poster boards back there. After that, the Most High said, okay, I put you in captivity and slavery, so now, are you going to get it right? We did not. Hence, here come the slave ships of Egypt. Verse 4.
How shall we sing a high song in a strange land?
How shall we sing in a strange land? 5.
If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning.
Let my right hand forget. Verse 6.
If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. Remember Ahiah, the children of Edom, and the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it. Is it raise it?
Yep.
Raise it, even to the foundation thereof.
So remember what Edom was doing to us. Raise it, build it up. Okay? Section 2, prophetic curses. According to Jeremiah 17:4, gentlemen, one of you get it? Also, one of you get Matthew 27. Okay, so we want Jeremiah 17:4. We want Matthew 27. We want one of you get Romans 11. And then one of you get Luke 21. All right, so according to Jeremiah 17:4, the children of Israel would be discontinued from their heritage, which would leave room for question. Since the children of Israel was discontinued from their heritage, how would they know who they are and how would they know who would exist? Okay, we got Jeremiah 17:4. Okay. Let's read Jeremiah 17:4.
And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
Woo! It's going to burn. It's going to burn. It's going to be extinguished. No, it's going to burn forever.
Forever. Forever.
Forever. Let's get Matthew 27. Whoever got Matthew 27 is verses 24 to 25. Matthew 27, verse 24 to 25.
And Yeshua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came. Wait, is this right?
Matthew 27.
14, 25?
24 and 25. Yeah, Matthew 27.
Is that right? Signs of the end?
Yeah.
Okay. And Yeshua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to shew him the buildings of the temple.
Is that Matthew 27?
Is it remorse? The remorse of death of Judah?
It says, it should say, when Pilate saw that.
Right, he cursed. The Israelites cursed and said, Let his blood be on our hands and on our children's hands.
Yeah.
That should be Matthew
I
27.
don't think he's at Matthew 27. Who's in Matthew 27?
Is it 27:32?
No, Matthew 27, 24. Take your time.
Curious.
24.
All right, go ahead.
When Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude.
He took his hands. He said, you know what? I kind of understand what's going on here, and I'm not going to have this man blood on my hands. But listen to what the Israelites did. Go ahead.
I am innocent of the blood of this just person. See ye to it. Then answered all the people and said, his blood be on us and on our children.
Woo!
Then released the Barabbas unto them, and when he had scourged the Shire, he derived him to be crucified.
Okay, that's good. So, that's a curse. Let his blood be on our hands and our children.
Yeah.
Those jerks.
All right, Romans, we should have Romans 11:25, and let's have Luke 21:24.
I think we have a question. You have a question?
Go ahead.
Yeah, what does that mean? What do you mean, wash and
What Pilate did is they wanted to crucify Yeshua. So Pilate washed his hands and he says, I'm clean of this man's blood. I don't want to kill him.
Oh, okay.
But you Jews want to kill him. Because what they did is they threatened Pilate with Caesar. And they said, well, if you don't kill him, we're going to go to Caesar. And if that would have happened, then Caesar would have had Pilate killed. So Pilate says, I'm washing my hands of this. I don't want any parts of this. You guys want to kill him? You go ahead and kill him. And they said, let his blood be on us and our children. They put a curse.
Yeah, they put a curse on us. Yeshua's blood.
All right, Romans 11:25. Let's go.
For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness is in part is happened to Israel, until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in.
Until the fullness of the Gentiles come in. All right, you got Luke 21:24.
What does that mean?
That means that it's not going to stop.
Until the Gentiles' time is up.
Right.
I gave them a time to rule over us.
Correct. All right, let's get Luke 21:24. We got that?
Yeah.
All right, read it.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. That's what Christ, that's what Yeshua said. All right? Line upon line, precept upon precept. Here a little, there a little.
I love that.
All right?
That's nice.
Deuteronomy 28:46. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 46. See, here you're going to learn. Here you're going to learn. You're going to learn a little history. You're going to learn the Bible. But you're going to get an understanding. You're going to learn things from the 60s, from the 50s.
And just knowledge.
You're going to learn and understand things that happen in your country that you may not have even known about. But here you're going to get some knowledge and wisdom. You're going to get some understanding. So therefore, you'll be ready when that trump sounds.
That's right.
All right. Deuteronomy 26:48. Let's get it.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
There you go. It's part of the curse. So this shows that the curses were written in the scriptures would identify the children of Israel because there will be no other way to identify them. Those who claim to be Jews, the Ashkenaz, fail in every way to fit the criteria. They fail at it.
Yeah.
The ones with the curly thing going down their head and the big block on their forehead. Christ, Yeshua said something about that block on the forehead. He said something about proselytes. All right? The so-called Negro, who is a descendant of the slave trade, the so-called Hispanics and Indians, who are founders of the New World, fit the criteria more than any other people.
True that.
More than any other people. There was no one here before the Most High put a spirit on the 10 tribes to come over here.
Don't they try and say that the 12 tribes of those countries in Europe,
Yeah.
but those countries have never been enslaved, they've never been in any sort of...
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Oh, you liars.
That's where ignorance comes in.
right. And we're going to have a breakdown of those 12 tribes of Europe next week.
Well,
Why
Satan
we're
has
so
to have
heavy.
his 12 tribes too, I guess.
All right, let's get Deuteronomy 28:16 again.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Let's get an explanation. So the Israelite was cursed in both the city and the field because in the field he was a slave, and after he was placed in slums in the city. Another example of this parable would be the so-called Negroes moving to a rural area, and then he start acting like an Uncle Tom. A black person who act white. All right? But he's still a nigger to the so-called, to the Edomites.
Yeah.
Whites who occupy the neighborhood before him have an attitude that he don't belong here. The nigga don't belong here. All right? But notice though, it's not just with Judah. It's with all the 12 tribes. The lighter color of the tribes, I don't care what you are or who you are. You feel like you're superior to the darker ones. Okay? That's with every single one of the 12 tribes. Naphtali. If they were raped by the Japanese, then they're going to look light. Opposed to the darker Naphtali, the Samoans. Okay? Samoans are dark.
Yes, they are.
Fiji, they're light. People on Fiji Islands feel like they're superior to the Samoans. It's the same everywhere. Why is Simeon and who's with Simeon? Who's with Simeon? Haitians. Why are they on the same island?
Because they were brothers. Well,
Haitians, the Dominicans
they fought each other.
feel superior to the Haitians, even though they're brothers. Okay?
Well, so you can go down to dark-skinned Judah and light-skinned Judah. It's always...
Yeah, it is in every tribe. And in every tribe, there's lighter and there's darker because there's darker Puerto Ricans, which are Ephraim, then there is lighter ones, Cubans, I mean everything, even Mexicans. And it also like whomever took over Spain or if it was
It
What is
depends
it,
on
France?
who rates who.
yeah.
All right. Leviticus 26:17. Leviticus chapter 26, verse 17. I enjoyed the input, everybody. Keep it up. Leviticus 26:17. Let's read it.
And I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none hurt.
Who could that be? Could that be people in Denmark claiming to be from the tribe of Manasseh?
No.
Could that be the French who claim to be from the tribe of Judah?
No.
Of course not. They're not hated There's nobody reigning over them.
They're ready to do
Okay?
So why do our people think Esau love us then?
Because they're ignorant.
Just right there said, the Most High His word said they would hate us.
Dark skin is viewed as inferior or unbecoming all over the world. Even in Israel, the dark people who are true Israelites, they're called Cushions, meaning nigger. Even in Israel, those Israelites who haven't left the homeland, that's their home, and the Ashkenaz are calling them nigger. Okay, it's everywhere.
There's some video on YouTube and it talks about how the real Israelites, black, Judah, was going over, traveling to Israel, and the people in Israel was stopping them at the border somewhere, was kicking them back out, saying that they don't want them there, they don't belong there. But that's their land, that's our land.
Right.
Tell us about the people you saw, the Israelites.
I'll get to that later. All right, let's get Jeremiah 24:9. All right, Jeremiah 24:9. We had a wonderful precept for this one. Go ahead.
And I will deliver them to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth for their hurt, to be a reproach and a proverb, a taunt and a curse, in all places whither I shall drive them.
So the Most High is saying you're going to be a proverb. All right?
So that we would be a proverb?
Correct. Precept, Deuteronomy 28:37. Deuteronomy 28:37. Okay. Let's read it.
And thou shalt become an astonishment,
An astonishment,
a proverb,
a proverb,
and a byword
a byword
among all nations,
among all nations.
whither a higher thy power shall lead thee.
Where a higher thy power shall lead you. African American is a byword. Blacks is a byword. Mexicans is a byword. Native American, byword. Haitians, byword. Cubans, byword. Yeah, it does matter. Yeshua is a man of color, and so are the true Hebrew Israelites. There they go.
It's so many of our people, especially Judah and these Christian churches, when you tell them the color of Yeshua, they say, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I am so sick and tired of hearing that lie.
Doesn't matter to Esau.
But it does matter who we are, the color of our skin, because the promise, the covenant was made with us. The kingdom was promised and given to us. So it does matter.
It does. We're going to get into that
It does.
next week. All right, Deuteronomy 28:67. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 67. All right? All right, let's get it.
In the morning thou shalt say, would a higher it were even, and at even thou shalt say, would a higher it were morning, for the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see.
That's when you start to come into the truth. Okay? This illustrates a similar point that the children of Israel would face a lose-lose situation, where satisfaction in their standard of living was concerned. Okay? Let's get an excerpt from Valley of the Dry Bones by Rudolph Windsor. Like I said, you want to get this book. It's very informative. Valley of the Dry Bones. All right, it says, for fear, death, and destruction remained with the black from the moment the slavers took him aboard the slave ships until present day. Throughout the summer and fall of 1919, I would highly suggest that if you have time, look up what happened to us in 1919. It's a lot of stuff that happened. All right? there were more than 20 race riots that erupted in the United States, like swarms of locusts, and blood flowed like water in the streets of American cities. The
Wow.
worst riot engulfed in the city of Chicago, where whites killed a lonely black boy because he chose to go to a white beach. People in Chicago, guess what that beach is named now?
Rainbow Beach.
Rainbow Beach.
Wait, is that after the boy or is that his game?
Well, the black boy decided to go on a white-only beach.
And it's nothing but a black beach now. We used to live over there across the street.
All right, the riot ensued for 13 days, left 38 people dead and 537 injured, and about 1,000 black families were made homeless before the National Guard restored order. Deuteronomy 28:22. Deuteronomy 28:22.
The Most High shall smite thee with consumption, and with a fever, and with an inflammation, and with an extreme burning,
Yep,
and with the sword, and with blasting,
yep,
and with mildew,
yep.
and they shall pursue thee until thou perish.
They shall pursue thee until thy perish. We're going to talk about these diseases a little later.
You sound like a few things I've been through.
We're going to talk about these diseases in Deuteronomy 28:22 a little later. Okay? 22 is referring to diseases and lynchings. One of the worst episodes in the life of a slave was the Middle Passage, the voyage from West Africa to the Americas. The conditions on the slave cargo ships were unbearable. 200 to 400 captured slaves packed like sardines in the bottom of ships. We have a picture right there on the bottom of that poster. And the book titled The Middle Passage describes the plagues on these ships. All right. Let's take a picture. Israelites versus Jews. So I'm walking to work. I forget what morning it was. There's this black SUV that pulls alongside of it. It's at a stoplight. I'm walking and I hear Yiddish music, Hebrew music. I don't know what it was. But there was these two guys and they were, doing whatever they were doing with their hats, with the big curls down the side of the face, and with the flag of Israel on their mirror.
Yeah. Well, they had it outside like that?
No, the mirror. They hang it down. I wanted to say something, but then again, I was like, you know what? This is from the book, The Middle Passage, White Ships, Black Cargo. Some wet and blowing weather, having occasioned the porthole to be shut and the grating to be covered with blood and mucus, which had proceeded from them in sequence of the flux that had resembled a slaughterhouse. Number of slaves having fainted were carried upon the deck, where several of them died. So imagine all that blood and feces,
Well, that's
mucus.
yeah. The ones that were sick, they would put them down in the bottom of the ship to keep them from making everyone else sick. But what was the name of the disease? It started with a D.
Dysenteryism.
No, I don't know what it was, but it was one of the diseases that would go through the ship and take a lot of their cargo.
Right.
Well, our people
I
would
thought it was
kill them.
typhus.
It was like a couple of diseases, but what happened was, so you have people stacked on top of each other. So these people at the top and in the middle, if they pee in and because their stomachs was all tore up from eating whatever food they would force feed them. So you have pee and you have diarrhea running down to whoever, and it's just
Right.
affecting everybody.
Right.
That's why a lot of our people didn't make it because they would die.
Right.
They were peeing
In
on
the lower berth, you're dead.
Yeah,
The lower berth, you would consider dead.
because you would get everything.
because you get everything. There were 4 different births.
Somebody throw up.
Okay. So this,
Oh, there it is.
all right. So this is Israel. This is our home. Here, we went from Israel into Africa. 70 AD and 135 AD. Mostly 135 AD. Then from here, we settled here in Central Africa. Okay? From here, we started doing all kinds of stuff. Sacrificing each other, calling on Allah. So then, this is where we got to the Americas and to the South Seas, and some went here to South America.
And see, what they don't mention is that our people was considered precious cargo, so they was allowed to take insurance policies out on our people.
Right.
So if they died coming over here, guess what? They still get paid. Guess what corporations is doing to this day? They have secret life insurance policy, even to Walmart have insurance policies on their people. So when an employee at Walmart died, whoever owned Walmart get like 200,000 or 5,000. They still have insurance on the slaves today.
Oh yeah, it's from that documentary.
Yep.
Let's
Look.
get Deuteronomy 28:27. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 27. And let's read it.
The Most High will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emerods, and with the scab, and with the itch, whereof thou canst not be healed.
We're going to talk about the botch of Egypt later. Emerods and the scab and the itch. We're going to talk about that a little later when we get to sicknesses. All right. Valley of the dry bones again. Rudolph Windsor. Oh, we're going to talk about it now. The botch of Egypt was a tumor or a boil. The botch was one of the 10 plagues that Ahiah brought to the Egyptians at the hand of Moses. That's Exodus 9:9, remember?
Yeah. So what
Do we have to get it?
So what do people get on? What do people get on their bodies now?
Same thing.
Boils,
Boils.
and they smell something
What are
awful.
boils?
They say when your system is poisoned, it
Right.
comes up to a head, and it's
And
this
it's a
big
knot.
thing, and it smells like death if you bust it.
Yeah.
It's awful.
All right, Mr. Mannix tells us that Captain Wilson of the Brighton lost more than half his cargo of 375 slaves by not listening to his surgeon's advice regarding the signs of smallpox. That was another one that we were plagued with. The captain did not want to part with his good slave, and within a short time, many of the other slaves were infected with the disease. Henry Ellison said, "I have seen the platform one continued scab. We hauled up 8 or 10 slaves dead of the morning, their flesh and skin peeled off their wrists when they were taking hold, being entirely mortified." So they're pulling these slaves out, and they're so brittle that they rip off their hands. Because this is brittle now. Because of the disease that has plagued them. That's the botch of Egypt. This verse puts a special emphasis on incurable diseases. All right, let's get Deuteronomy 28:61.
Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Most High bring upon thee, until thou be destroyed.
So the Most High knew that Esau was going to start creating diseases. Because it says not written in the book. What could that possibly be? AIDS, gonorrhea, HIV. According to the CDC, that's the Central for Disease Control, black women account for 49% of all new HIV cases. The rate of HIV among black women is 20 times of that of white women. And sickle cell is a black person disease. Nobody else can get it.
What's sickle cell?
Issachar cannot get sickle cell anemia. They can't get it.
More white cells.
We have none or a lot.
More white cells.
You have more white cells.
Take over the red cells.
And it kills you. It turns your skin. You start to turn. It turns it white, and then you die. Sickle cell anemia is only towards Judah. You never heard of a Mexican. You never heard of a Naphtali, Asher, anybody getting sickle cell anemia.
Well, we know that through the so-called Life Source Blood Service and what's the other one? Red Cross. When they take our blood and different blood donations, they actually use that, and the scientists use it to point or to send certain sicknesses to certain types of people.
Right.
So that sickle cell anemia was sent towards the women of the people, the Judah
Like the
people.
swine flu was symptomatic.
Yeah.
All right.
That's where they became it.
Top 10 killers of Israelites. Cardiovascular disease. Every cancer. Multiple sclerosis. Diabetes. Of course, homicide.
That's enough.
Look up septicemia, because I don't know what that is. HIV, chronic lower respiratory, nephritis, nephritic syndrome, and abortions. Abortions.
You know, they just had, I didn't finish reading the article, but some state was talking about passing, well, they stopped the bill that was going to be passed because they said to have an abortion would be considered murder.
What is that?
It's murder.
It's bacteria in the blood that causes severe diseases.
Bacteria in the blood that causes what?
Severe disease.
Severe diseases.
And infections.
Deuteronomy 28:26.
And thy carcass shall be meat unto all fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall frail them away.
Okay. Hangings. Deuteronomy 28 and 29. Deuteronomy 28 and 29. And let's read it.
The Most High shall smite thee with madness and blindness, and astonishment of heart.
So our brothers is being smited. This is what's going on in Chicago. Smited with madness and blindness. Okay? 29.
And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in the darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways.
You shall not prosper in your ways. Go ahead.
And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore. And no man shall save thee.
No man shall save thee. No man shall save thee. Let's go back to the valley of the dry bones. Many slaves suffered insanity, madness, and hysteria when they saw their slave masters rape, beat, kill, sell their loved ones. Slavery was so harsh that they committed suicide and infanticide.
Like they would kill their babies.
They would kill their babies.
Like the women would hold their babies and just
And
fall over the
fall over and suffocate them to death or drown them. But it's not just with Judah. Every one of the 12 tribes went through this. Where they killed their children because they don't want them to be in this life.
You know, we all did, but it's like, how can I say, America has to be more open, but they're like whatever about it. Does it make sense? Like, they expect it to be, yeah, it happened, but it happened so long ago, get over it.
Yeah, we're gonna
Do you
get
know
to
what I
that
mean?
later.
And like, we all went through captivity, but it's different to, it's so out there here, but it's like a mockery. I don't know. I
There. I see what you said. We're going to get to that later. The scripture also says that no man shall save Israel. We have our history of countless men and women who tried to do it. Frederick Douglass, Nat Turner. We know who Nat Turner is, right?
Yes.
Okay. Marcus Garvey. We know who Marcus Garvey is, right? Those of you who don't know who Marcus Garvey is, he's from tribe of Levi. Okay. He tried to he did the same thing like Malcolm X did, tried to reunite his people, but that didn't happen. Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, who was a sex pervert, among a host of others. Freedom, Elijah Muhammad was a nutcase.
Yeah.
He's the leader of the Black Muslim Union back in the 50s. That's where Malcolm X got his teachings from. Until Malcolm X said, okay, wait a minute. This guy is pregnating women. He's doing this, that. I'm renouncing myself from him. The moment he renounced himself, they killed him. Get your hand on my pocket. Okay? All right. The word grope means to fumble around or to feel around, and that's groping spiritually. In Deuteronomy 28, when we read that scripture about groping, it's talking about groping spiritually. They were lost. Okay? Yeah, groping. We have done more groping than anything. We have went, my mother is a classic example. My mother, born Christian. Okay? Later on, my mother went from Christian to Rastafarianism. Later on, she went to Rastafarianism, back to Christians. Then she went from Christian to Buddhist. She's lost. She's lost.
Wait, she did voodoo too.
Yeah, there was also a kind of Haitian voodoo in there. She's lost. Okay? But that's our people. And not just our people. Mexicans, they're lost. They went from serving the Messiah go to Catholicism. Then from Catholicism to Christianity, then, oh, wait a minute. The Pope gave a good message. I'm going back to Catholicism. Confusion. Confusion. Our brothers in the South Seas, Naphtali, guess what they are? Buddhists. A lot of them are Buddhists. Confusion. Let's get Jeremiah 5. Isaiah 5. Isaiah 5, 13, 15. Isaiah 5, 13 to 15. Well, let's read it.
Therefore my people are gone into captivity, because they have no knowledge.
Have no knowledge. Go ahead.
And their honorable men are famished. And their multitude dried up with thirst.
Verse 14.
Therefore hell hath enlarged herself, and opened her mouth without measure. And their glory and their multitude, and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it.
That's Christianity. 15.
And the mean man shall be brought down, and the mighty man shall be humbled, and the eyes of the lofty shall be humbled.
You don't make it to the wilderness, this is gonna be you.
Wow.
And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name. They all lived in this one hut.
On the floor.
All right. Here's something interesting from Fox News. 2002, on the local news in Chicago, they presented a special report called The Forgotten Children. In this special, they were showing how Northern European and Canadians were adopting black children in mass numbers. Why do you think they are doing that?
Sacrifice.
Maybe.
Slaves.
Puppets. Pets.
Puppets,
Slaves, yeah.
Pets.
That's just yeah, slaves. I saw a show where it was these Japheth children. They had their own black slaves, little black kids, little kids. At least like kids. They followed them to school, carried their books, waited outside for them, everything.
All right, let's get Deuteronomy 28:30. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 30. All right, let's read it.
Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
Thou shalt get a wife, and another man's going to lie with her. How humiliating is that? And you, go ahead.
Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein.
So not only is this man laying with your wife, but you're building his house.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof.
So, and then you're out in the fields, you're working, the man is laying with your wife, you in the house that you built.
Yep.
How humiliating is that?
That's why our men tuck their heads between their legs to this day.
That's why men can't be men now. This was common during times of slavery when a slave would have a wife and the master would rape the women. Nearly the entire Western Hemisphere was built off slave labor, yet the descendants of the slaves have something to show for it. But you know what? There are people who are getting repercussions. It ain't the 12 tribes. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Deuteronomy 28:33. Somebody's getting repercussions, but it ain't us. And besides, would you really want their repercussions?
Oh no, that's hell.
Deuteronomy 28:33. Let's read it.
The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always.
You will be crushed always. It even exists in current day where sports and entertainment and inventions where the Negro dominates. Same thing on sports field. Same thing. You're there for their pleasure.
Did y'all get that video I sent you all about sports? Like when you go into, like when you watch sports and you go to a game, you're like actually worshiping like your favorite player, just like your God, you're worshiping that player.
Right.
And they're like the arena, sports arena are like temples.
Right.
So you
Where we
got,
just brutalize each other.
yeah. So you're worshiping these people as gods, and you're in their temple worshiping and praising them.
Right.
Sports.
All right, let's read Deuteronomy 28:31. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 31. So let's read it.
Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face.
How many times you got your vehicle repossessed?
Overall, they want to count.
Let's read.
Thou shalt not be restored to thee.
And you didn't get it back. Go ahead.
Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them.
Your stuff is being taken away.
So answer me this.
Yep.
If the law, statutes, and commandments is done away with,
Right.
and we go to the curse of Deuteronomy 28:31,
Right.
how come to this day our cars are being taken, things are being taken away from us? You do have people that actually work in restaurants and cook food, but when they go home, they have no food of themselves to eat.
Right.
People that work in grocery stores, and they go home and their refrigerator is bare. So who said that they're done away with? People.
All right. The third point of the Black Panthers 10-point program states, we believe that this racist government has robbed us, and now we are demanding the overdue debt of 40 acres and a mule, which until this day we have not received. In other words, Ahaya is basically saying that there will be no compensation for the atrocities that were committed during slavery. Okay? I'm going to show you something a little later about the atrocities that were done to other people, and they got paid from the government. Children. Yeah, this should be sexual. All right, our children. Let's get Deuteronomy 28:32. Deuteronomy 28:32, and let's read it.
Thy sons and thy daughters daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look, and fell with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand.
So I know how I felt when that cop came to get our son out of the house.
There's
That's how I
nothing you
felt.
can do.
Ain't nothing I could do.
So imagine you are on a slave plantation. You have 4 children, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're at the age now where they can be sold for a nice profit.
Yeah.
Are the bond with the 12 tribes is with their children, regardless what tribe you're from. It's with all tribes. And to have them taken away, or let's go the Gad route, where your children are murdered right in front of your eyes.
They was throwing, they was bashing their heads in.
They take the children of Gad and bash them into the cliffs with their head, while the Gad men were looking. That book, American Holocaust, is very detailed.
And then people
Who's this lady? Anybody know?
Harriet and Jacobs.
Anybody know who she is?
She wrote a
Who
book,
she
didn't
was.
Didn't she write Harriet Beecher Stowe?
Oh.
Wasn't Harriet Beecher Stowe a person?
She wrote a book.
Nice try. Yeah, she did write a book. It's right there. Incidents in the life of a slave girl.
Yeah, I know.
Remember, we did a teaching about, I think she's on Virtuous Women, I'm not for sure.
Or great women.
Or Great Women.
Yeah. That is Bible.
We'll talk about her later. Let's look at her book. All right. And this is out of her book that she wrote. She was a slave, and she hid in one of the upper parts of they thought she ran away, but she hid in an attic for 7 years.
That was a long time.
It was about 7 years that she hid in an attic. And she hid there, and while the master thought she had ran away, but she saw her children playing, because the master was a pervert, and he kept putting his sexual, and she got tired of it. So instead of running away, she hid in an attic for about 7 or 8 years. Okay, this is her book. On one of these slave sale days, I saw a mother lead 7 children to the auction block. She knew that some of them would be taken from her, but they took all. The children were sold to a slave trader, and their mother was bought by a man in her own town. Before night, her children were all far away. She begged the trader to tell her where he intended to take him. This he refused to do. How could he, when he knew he would sell them one by one, wherever he could command the highest price? I met that mother in the street, and her wild, haggard face lives today in my mind. She wrung her hands in anguish and exclaimed, "Gone, all gone, why don't God kill me?" That's what they did. That's how they felt.
And we got people today still sinning. They're still doing stuff. They don't care.
Deuteronomy 28:41. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 41, and let's read it.
Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity.
These curses are still going on today. You have to enjoy your children. Okay? Little spin on this one though. The slaves were stripped away from their parents and entire heritage given to the hands of the enemy. This taking place even today in our judicial system, where 80% of Israelites are housing the jails.
Yeah.
80%.
Still happening. Whether it's abortion, murder in the streets, or...
In America, roughly 6 times more blacks are incarcerated than whites. Though blacks make up only 12% of the population, whites make up about 80%. We're going to get Isaiah 42:22 and Zechariah 11 later. They're going to come up. In fact, you may want to open, I don't think I have Zechariah 11. Go to Zechariah 11, 4-5 and hold it. Okay? Biblical curses. First Maccabees. Do we got the Apocrypha out here?
I have mine.
All right. Here's the one of the gentlemen. Let's get First Maccabees 3:41.
Take care of it.
We're going to discuss Deuteronomy 28:48. We already talked about Galatians. We talked about Deuteronomy 28:36. We're going to get Isaiah 42:22 later. And we're going to read Zechariah 11, 5 and 6. Okay. So let's get First Maccabees 3:41. Let me know when you get it.
First Maccabees 3 what?
3:41.
Did y'all read the Maccabees yet?
Okay, I got it.
All right, First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 41. Let's read it.
And the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much with servants, and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for slaves. A power also of Syria and of the land of the Philistines joined themselves unto them.
Okay, there you go. I don't believe I'm an Israelite. Great. Let's read Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 36. And then after that, we'll get Zechariah. Deuteronomy 28:36, and let's read it.
The Most High shall bring thee, and thy king which thou shalt set over thee.
So the Most High shall bring thee, and thy king which thou shalt set over thee, meaning Esau. Go ahead.
Unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
We did not know America. We were over in Africa, which doing all kinds of stuff. The 10 tribes, the 10 northern tribes, they didn't know anything about America. They didn't. They didn't know anything about America. The Most High put a spirit on the 10 tribes and calmed the waters for them to cross the Atlantic to get to America. That's in 2nd Ezra's 13th chapter, verses 47 to 49, I believe.
Because they was in the Assyrian captivity.
No,
Correct.
I didn't read
You
finish
didn't
that.
finish.
No?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone.
Wood and stone. We're going to discuss that one a little later. Okay? We're going to discuss that a little later. Let's read Zechariah 5. Or what is it? Zechariah?
Say 11 and 6.
Yes, Zechariah chapter 11. Zechariah chapter 11.
For I will no more pity the inhabitants of the land, the Most High. But lo, I will deliver the men, everyone, into his neighbor's land, or into his neighbor's hand, and unto the hand of his king. And they shall smite the land, and out of their hand I will not deliver them.
Out of their hand I will not deliver them. All right?
Once you sit down.
Okay. So, the gods wood and stone. So this happened during the Atlantic slave trade. The so-called Negro was alienated from his history, his power, his culture, and he was scattered. The wood, of course, represents the wooden cross of Christianity. The stone being the Kaaba stone of Islam in Mecca. Okay. Deuteronomy 28, 43, and 44. Deuteronomy 28, 43, and 44. Let's read it.
The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low.
So the stranger get above thee. So basically, Esau gets everything and you get nothing. Basically, that's how it is. 44.
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the trail. Or thou shalt be the tail.
The tail. So what that is payday loans. Payday loans. You're always lending. You're always borrowing from him. He's always lending you money.
With 200% interest.
You sound like you know something about that.
The Gentiles control the banks, the Federal Reserve, and nearly all lending institutions when it contributed heavily to poverty of blacks and Hispanics and the systematic slavery created. Notice that only blacks and only brothers and Hispanics are the only two who really go to payday loans. Okay? They're the only two.
Evil.
And so that clearly, with that scripture, clearly shows that the Jews who claim to be Jews and they are not, that can't be them because they own the banks.
Right.
Okay? Yoke upon thy neck. Deuteronomy 28:48. We'll get to that one next. Okay? Deuteronomy 28:48 and 49. Deuteronomy 28:48 and 49. And let's read it.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Most High shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness, and in all want and and in want of all things. He shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee.
Right?
The Most High shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Again.
We didn't understand.
A yoke of iron.
We didn't understand.
Right? Get to know who this young man is. Wilson Chin. Where have we seen him before? He's right there.
Deuteronomy 28, 23, and 40.
Okay?
I ain't seen no white people with no arms like that around their neck.
That chain was for runaways.
So they couldn't get through the trees.
And that thing was about 50 pounds. It was heavy.
He has the shackles too.
That was for runaways. And we did a teaching last year, I think it was, on slavery.
And you know, Mary got a song, take the shackles off my feet so I can dance.
Huh?
What?
That's a nice
You see
song.
what he's carrying? What is that for?
That's a pattern.
Probably an oven or something, I don't know.
Well, that's holes in it.
Yeah, that was a paddle. I don't know why he's carrying that, but the main thing is the yoke of iron on his neck.
I think that's some in his hand too.
Those are looks like chains. All right.
That's so crazy, and now Esau uses that, like all of that, to exploit sex, especially this, like these little cages and stuff. Like when you see them, you know, it's like their EDSM they call it.
All right. So the slaves couldn't understand the tongue of the masters. It is an important deal because the so-called Negroes and Hispanics of the Western Hemisphere all speak language of their conquerors, whether it be broken form or another dialect, but have forgotten their native language. During the slave trade, the Gentiles would come from nations all over the globe to buy and sell Negroes. So basically, we lost our ancient Hebrew language.
So we need to.
And the language of our captors is what we take and what we hold so dear and precious.
But it's really not.
So when we were taken from Africa, were we speaking Hebrew or were we
Not at
speaking-
that time.
By that time
Hebrew was long gone by the Arab slave trade in 1100.
No,
By 1100, we were speaking all kinds of dialects,
African, Swahili stuff.
which
Yeah.
some of Swahili is derived from ancient Hebrew. Deuteronomy 28:68.
And
Some of the African dialects, and even it's in fact we have a book in there called Hebrewisms of West Africa, and in that book it details that certain words that was used in the African so-called African dialect, those were ancient Hebrew words beforehand. Okay, let's get Deuteronomy 28:68.
And the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the water whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
So we're going to go into Egypt again. We already are here.
This is Egypt.
This is Egypt.
Yeah.
Little Egypt.
This is Egypt. And we're not going to see Africa again. So all those, let's go back to Mother Africa and all that other garbage, we're not going to see Africa again.
You know, Africa is not the motherland. Israel is the motherland.
Correct.
So they even lied about that.
Finally, the people calling themselves Jews have never been on a slave ship in history. But the so-called Negroids experienced curses. And it's not just the Negro, Gad also was on slave ships. Gad was on slave ships from the Americas to England. Okay, so Gad was also on slave ships just like that one. That's why I said Judah was number one as far as atrocities. Gad, a very close second. Issachar, close third.
And that's funny because Christopher Columbus, he wrote a little thing and he bragged about how he
Stealing
forced.
for Columbus.
Yeah, he bragged about how he forced the Indians onto the ships to take them back. We'll take them to.
That's on track.
Section 4, more curses. Okay. Deuteronomy 29 and 1. Deuteronomy 29 and 1, let's read it.
These are the words of the covenant, which the Most High commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel and the land of Moab, beside the covenant which he made with them in Horeb.
Alright, so these are the words of the covenant which the Most High commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel. But we broke those covenants. All the curses that are presented that we went through in Leviticus 26, Deuteronomy 28, are supposed to just affect the true children of Israel, not all of mankind. This is why the whole world isn't affected. Chinese aren't affected by these curses.
Japheth, no, they're not.
They prospering.
Japheth is not suffering.
Are they
Alright.
gonna suffer?
Esau
Oh, they gonna suffer in hell.
is not suffering. They're not suffering, but they will. Let's go to Daniel.
Oh.
Daniel something.
Daniel chapter 9, verse 11 through 13. And let's get a understanding on what effect, on the curses that are affect Israel. Daniel 9, 11 through 13. And let's read it.
Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of the Most High, because we have sinned against him.
We have sinned against them. We have broken the laws that were established with Moses. 12.
And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us and against our judges that judge us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem.
13.
And as it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us. Yet made we not our prayers before the Most High our power, that we might not turn from our iniquity and understand thy truth.
That we might turn away from our iniquities and understand thy truth. These two verses clearly show that these same curses in Deuteronomy 28, Leviticus 26 are on Israel today. Daniel said these curses are poured on Israel. He also says that these are curses that were written in the book of Moses. Now we know what the book of Moses are, right? It's the first 5 books of the Bible, which is called the what?
Tanakh.
Tanakh.
No. The
First
Torah.
5 books.
Yeah.
The who?
Torah.
The Torah. All right? What is the Tanakh? What's the Tanakh?
Math.
No, it's the Old Testament
Oh, yeah.
from ancient Hebrew. What's the Tetragrammaton?
That's the first 5 something.
I don't know.
No, the Tetragrammaton is the Jewish Bible, which has the name Yahweh as God.
That's the perverted one, right? That says you
Correct.
can touch boys, little babies.
And Jehovah. No, that's not.
Oh.
That's not. That's another book. All right, so the first 5 books of the Bible refer to Moses, were referred as the books of Moses. These books contain the laws of a high that Moses taught to the children of Israel. The book of Leviticus is the 3rd, Deuteronomy is the 5th. So without a doubt, Daniel is saying that all the curses that we just showed you are poured on Israel. Remember, the Bible says these curses are to remain in Israel. Let's get Habakkuk chapter 2. That just popped into my mind because I don't have it on here. Habakkuk 2, 15. Let's start at verse 15.
I know.
This is a curse on Gad.
I know why this came to your mind.
I'm put 2 and 15.
Yeah, let's read it. Let's start at 14.
For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Most High, as the waters cover the sea. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drink also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. Thou art filled with shame for glory, drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Most High's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory.
Okay. Curse of alcoholism. That's on Gad.
It's on Gad more than anybody.
Okay. Let's get Isaiah 42:22. Remember I said we're going to have Isaiah 42:22 later. Now is the time. Let's get it. Isaiah 42:22. And let's read it.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none safe restored.
Prison houses. A lot of the 12 tribes are in prison. Okay? The Western Hemisphere, we have been robbed of and stripped of our culture, our language, our history, our heritage. We are the only people, upon our arrival of these shores, forbidden to practice our original way. We have to give up our original names in history for a few bywords and proverbs. And a new history was given to us. We are the minority of the population, 12%. The majority of people in prisons, up to 60 to 80%. Today, more than 1/3 of young Hebrew men aged 18 to 34 are either in prison or in some form of justice supervision. The U.S. prisons, Hebrew men at a rate of 6 times greater than those of white men. Hebrew men make up less than 7% of the U.S. population, but comprise a half of the prison and jail population. That's pretty sad. but it's a curse. We are a spoil, and no one say restore. After 300 years of slavery, no one has given us the necessary tools to restore us to the people we're supposed to be. Nobody.
Well, that reminded me when we were street preaching
Uh-huh.
last year, I believe, and there was this guy came up to us, it was Judah, and he was like, well, what is your philosophy? Like, what are you all selling? You know, I'm trying to get this halfway house going for people out of prison,
Right.
and maybe we can, like, you know, partner together. Like, what is your philosophy? What are you selling? And we're not selling anything. We're giving you exactly what the scriptures in the Bible is saying.
Uh-huh.
And then he was like, well, how can we stop? How can I stop it where my son is not slaying in these streets? And I told him, I said, brother, the only way your son will not fall under this curse is if he keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High and serve him. He turned around and walked away.
Yep. I ain't hearing that.
I said, he didn't want to hear that. I mean, I guess he didn't believe it. He didn't understand. I guess he thought maybe to send him to some kind of group, or, you know, because that's how people think. Send him to some kind of group or counseling. No. Serve the Most High and these curses won't fall on you. He didn't want to hear that though.
Right. So the United States has a history of paying reparations, but not to us. They paid the Indians in the form of land, money, free taxes, etc. Basically, they got them in bondage. In 1991, the U.S. paid $20,000 to each Japanese American that were put into internment camps in World War II. Remember, they had those camps in World War II, mainly in San Francisco, and they would put people from Japan in these concentration camps because America was at war with Japan. So these people in 1991 got paid $20,000 each. Go ahead.
I just learned about this in history, and the reason why they put the Japanese in those camps was because when they came over to America, they were supposed to be loyal to America, but because America was paranoid, they put them in camps because they thought that they were still loyal to Japan.
Very good. All right, the United States and the Allies paid more than $14 billion. $14 billion
Wait, who
to
got that?
German and Japanese people for reparations and apologies. $14 billion.
So everybody got something except the 12 tribes.
Correct.
I want to claim my money from that.
Isaiah 42:23. And let's read it.
Who among you will give ear to this? Who will hearken and hear for the time to come?
Who is going to listen? These scriptures are related to us because we are the true descendants of the biblical Hebrews. But who will listen? Many people who hear this truth, including Hebrews, so-called blacks, try their hardest to deny this. They say you are anti-Semitic, and they'll call you other names. Some will say people say you're descendants of Egyptians, Moors, or Muslims. That's not true. We're not from Egypt, we're not Moors, and we're not Muslims.
What are Moors?
Okay?
What are Moors?
Moors are black Europeans, Hamites. All right, the curses will not be removed from Israel after or before the death of Yeshua. Look what he tells the Israelites in the book of Luke. So I think we read this already. Luke chapter 22, it's like Luke chapter 21, verses 22 to 24. No, we did. Luke 21, 22 through 24. Okay. Let's read it.
For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck, in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people.
You have to flee. Can't be having no infants when it's time to flee. When it's time to flee, you got to be able to get up and go.
What
Okay?
do you mean?
Bye-bye.
So I can have no more kids?
Verse 24.
Right.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Okay, I think we did with that already. First, Yeshaya said that all things which are written shall be fulfilled. This is reference to Deuteronomy 28, Leviticus 26. Then he said that Israel is going to be taken captive into all nations until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. That is still going on now. 70 AD, Vespasian and his son Titus came to Jerusalem and destroyed it. Most of the Israelites were killed or taken captive. That talks about Luke, the 23rd verse, and then the 24th verse. We Israelites are led into captive by all nations, into all nations. According to prophecy, the Hebrews can be the land of Israel as a sovereign nation. So, according to prophecy, we can't be in Israel now. That's prophecy.
And you got some Israelites over there now pitching tents and all that.
Let's read Micah chapter 5, verse 7 and 8. Micah 5, 7 and 8. Okay, let's read it.
And the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people, as a dew from the Most High, as the showers upon the grass, that tarrieth not for man, nor waiteth for the sons of man. And the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles, in the midst of many people, as a lion among the beasts of the forest, as a young lion among the flocks of sheep, who if he go through, both treadeth down and teareth in pieces, and none can deliver.
None can deliver. We've read several scriptures where it says none can deliver. No man can deliver you. That's why I don't understand how people are saying, well, you need to flee and go to him. The Bible is telling us that no man is going to be able to deliver you out of this captivity. Only the Most High. True Hebrews are among the Gentiles in the midst of many people. It is not a coincidence that the United States is known as the melting pot of the world, because every race resides here, with the Gentiles being the majority. There are true Hebrew that resides in many other people among Gentile nations. Let's get Ezekiel chapter 16. Verse 24 and 25. We're just about done. Ezekiel 16, 24 and 25, and let's read it.
That thou hast also built unto thee an eminent place, and hast made thee a high place in every street.
We're going to find out what this is, because this is a curse. This is a curse of churches. 25.
Thou hast built thy high place at every head of the way, and hast made thy beauty to be honored, or abhorred, and hast opened thy feet to everyone that passed by, and multiplied thy whoredoms.
Multiplied thy whoredoms.
Yep.
This is talking about the Christian church. I'm going to show you. A high place is a place of worship, such as a temple, a church, etc. It's called a high place because in Bible days, Hebrews would build a place of worship on a high hill. Now, everybody's been in a Christian church. Where's your pastor altar?
In the front, on an altar.
On a little step.
It's up high.
He's higher than everybody else.
Same thing. Same thing. Let's get the definition from high place from the Zondervan Dictionary, And it says the high place is an elevated site, usually found on the top of a mountain or a hill. Most high places were Canaanite places of worship.
Solomon's temple was up on the mountain, up on the top of the hill.
I put this in here because just in this neighborhood alone, there are 21 churches.
Wow, that's brutal. It was 15.
Just in this. When I took Brother Robert on a little drive, and to show him why the Most High has called him, I counted, and we counted 21 churches. From here to the library in Avondale. Curse of women and children.
Right. I already know this one.
Let's get Proverbs chapter 7, verse 10. Proverbs 7 and 10, and let's read it.
And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of a harlot and subtle of heart.
Okay. Women are under a curse as well. All right, let's get Isaiah chapter 3, verses 16 and 18. This is Isaiah 3, 16 and 18, and let's read it.
Moreover, the Most High said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with the stretched forth necks, and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet.
So this is talking about the daughters of Zion, haughty, walking with their stretched forth necks, meaning they protrude their necks higher. And wanton eyes, that means they're looking lustfully. Walking and menacing, angry women.
We like open
12 tribes are angry. Gad, Issachar, Judah. Angry women. Making tinkling with their feet. A lot of women wear the ankle bracelets. Okay, that's
Or
the
high heels.
or
Stilettos.
high heels or stilettos.
Clappers.
Verse 17.
Therefore the Most High will smite with the scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and a high will discover their secret parts.
Now the scab on the crown is mostly for Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Bald head. Okay? And then you have the 10 tribes who are so ignorant that they put extensions in their hair.
And then you go bald, kid.
And then you go bald.
I have no hair. Thank the most high. I have hair now because I didn't have any hair.
Verse 18.
And that day the Most High will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their calls, and their rounds, tires like the moon.
Okay? Most High is going to take away. He's going to strip you of your body. No more being fit and lean.
We'll be round like the moon.
Okay? Let's go to let's get off of Isaiah 3 for a second. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus. This is in the Apocrypha. 26:25. Ecclesiasticus 26:25. These are the curses that women have. Go ahead.
A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefaced will fear the Most High.
Woman that is shamefaced, fear the Most High. What is shameless? Makeup. You gotta do yourself up. You're counted as a dog in the sight of the Most High.
Ooh.
So bow wow.
Oh.
But a shamefaced woman, meaning a woman who doesn't put on makeup because she knows that she has a true beauty about herself.
And the headbands, and the tablets, and the earrings,
Yep.
the rings, and the nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel, and the mantles, mantles, and the whipples, and the crisping pins.
All these are ornaments that women wear to make themselves look thin and make themselves, that hourglass figure. 23.
Earrings?
The glasses, and the fine linen, and the hoods, and the veils.
So the Most High took away all this.
That's why we're not supposed to wear them. People don't understand it. We'll get them back, earrings and makeup.
Yeah, we'll get them back eventually, but women are saying, I'm going to get mine now.
They're wearing it now. So
Verse 24. Isaiah chapter 3, verse 24 to 26. And let's read it.
Yeah.
And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink.
Uh-huh.
And instead of a girdle of rent, and instead of well set hair, baldness, and instead of stomacher, a girdle of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty.
We got a wonderful precept for this one. So instead of sweet smell, ladies, your menstruals did not smell like dead fish.
No.
It smelled like flowers.
Let's
And I will show
clarify. It shouldn't smell like dead fish. It should just smell like blood. But it shouldn't smell like dead fish.
She's right.
Let's clarify
What
that.
would you living?
There's something wrong with the
But I'm going to show you that it should smell like flowers.
It should smell like flowers.
Yeah.
Verse 25.
Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war.
Now, women can't hold a sword. So how can men fall by the sword? It's because the women are dominating the men. That's what that means.
Like they just passed that new bill that women can fight combat now.
Oh.
Wait, where for what? For the
In war,
military?
women can fight. Yeah, in the
Before
military.
they couldn't?
No, they weren't allowed to be on the front lines. Now they're allowed to be on the front lines.
Well,
Just put the lesbians up there and kill them all.
every
26.
And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground.
Okay? I'm sorry. Were you about to say something?
I was gonna say every movie you see now, like combat movie, is always a woman in charge of the military group, which is all men. The woman is saving the day. The woman is killing everybody.
Right. Now, that's not to say our sister Deborah. Why is that called? Our sister Deborah. That's something different. Because our sister Deborah was a prophetess.
Yeah.
But if you read in the book of Judges, her husband was still the lead over her.
Right.
All right. Let's get Leviticus chapter 20. I'm sorry. Leviticus chapter 15, verse 24. Leviticus 15:24. And let's read.
And if any man lie with her at all, and he flowers be upon him, and her flowers be upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days, and all the bed whereon he lieth shall be unclean.
So, if you read Leviticus chapter 15, verse, I believe it's 19 to 26, it talks about a woman's menstrual. And it talks about the woman's menstrual being flowers.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's how we know that women, once upon a time, the Most High, of course they would have their monthly cycle, but their monthly cycle would not be grievous to them.
Right.
That's what it means. Now you have aches and pains.
Yeah.
Okay? But that's what that meant. That it wouldn't be grievous to them. Our community, children as young as 12 and 13, have oppressed us. Many children misguided, involved in street gangs, carry guns, and all that. Scripture also says that women will rule over the man. The Hebrew female has been placed over the Hebrew man as long as we've been here. Okay? There are twice as many Hebrew women in college than there are in males. Let's get Isaiah chapter 51, verse 20. Isaiah 51:20, and let's read it.
Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets as a wild bull in a net. They are full of fury of full
of fury.
They are full of the fury of Ahiah, the rebuke of thy power.
And this is who they're talking about.
Wow.
This is what they're talking about.
And they think those gang signs, but those really are like
That's the devil sign. Look at the bloods right here. That's a pentagram.
Yeah.
Also, haven't we been branded enough?
Right.
In slavery, we were branded all the time.
Yeah.
Haven't we been branded enough? Look at
Wow.
our brothers over here. Our brothers just destroyed the Most High's body.
No, yeah, that's Salvadorians. What is it?
Just destroyed the Most High's body.
And they all worship in Satan. That will worship.
Go to any Hebrew community throughout the United States and you'll find Hebrew men and boys claim the street corners as theirs. Section 5, characteristics of curses. This is going to be the next two sections are going to be kind of short. All right. Let's first get the downfall of Issachar. All right. So there's little doubt that the ritual Aztec sacrifice contributed to the fall of the Aztec Empire in more ways than one. First, killing thousands of people, whether you or your neighbors, simply can't be good for society. The loss of people in a loss that can't be calculated. Religion killed Issachar. Naturally, religion already played a part because of the sacrifices. It has been commonly believed at first the Aztecs thought that the Spanish were gods. They thought that the Spanish were gods. They came over in these ships and they thought that they were gods because they were white-faced and all that. They didn't look like them. Total number of combat fatalities were only in the hundreds of thousands as noted, but thanks to smallpox, 9 to 10 million, up to 12 million people were killed. See how Issachar is third? Destroyed. Okay, this is following from the American Holocaust. So, Issachar, Judah had what, over 100 some odd million. Gad had about 90 million. Issachar had about 20 million. Destroyed. Killed. That was their way of eugenics. All right, Cortez had 86 horsemen, 118 crossbowmen, and whatever that is, 700 Spanish foot soldiers. He put 25 soldiers plus artillerymen on each ship. Since each was equipped with a cannon, he partitioned his remaining land forces into 3 groups. Under the command of Alvarado were 30 horsemen, 18 crossbowmen, 150 Spanish foot soldiers, and 25,000, whatever that is, to be sent to Tlacopan. Cristobal del Olid commanded 20 crossbowmen and whatever that is, 175 foot soldiers and 20,000 Indian allies would go to
Iztapalapa, Mexico. I believe that's where the pyramids were. Iztapalapa.
Oh, okay.
Iztapalapa.
And not only would they do that, they would use the people to enslave the people.
Oh yeah, we saw the movie.
They would use the people to enslave the people. All right, the Spanish government would laud his success and delight in the 7,000 tons of riches that he secured. 7,000 tons. The battle would prove Spain with a foothold in Central America and a region that continues to primarily speak Spanish. The riches would help fund later expeditions into South America. So they weren't just finished with Mexico and Central America. They started getting expeditions to go to South America after that. Spain would become a dominant world power. So thanks to Issachar, Zebulon, Asher, Spain became a world power. And it's not thanks to them, it's because they enslaved them and took everything that they had from them. And that was only in 1588. Cortez, named captain of the general of New Spain, would continue to function as a conquistador until he returned home Spain a hero. Deuteronomy 28:46.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
It's pointed out many times that during this teaching, how the Jews don't fit the curses. How can they be Israel? For one reason, this page is being presented. It will show the characteristics of Israelites. If the Jews and any other people are descendants of Israel, they must possess these traits: bondage, slavery, captivity. Okay? If you're a Hebrew Israelite, you have to have been through bondage, slavery, or captivity of some sort. Let's get Jeremiah 2:14, and let's read it.
Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled?
Okay? Bondage and captivity would play a big part in the children of Israel's history. The Bible tells us that Israel's captivity and bondage in Egypt, Babylon, and Assyria. History shows us that Israel went into many more captivities after those. Okay? No power to fight against their enemies. If you're a Hebrew Israelite, you did not have power to fight against your enemies. Let's get Leviticus 26:37. Leviticus 26:37. Let's read it.
And they shall fall one upon another, as they were before a sword, when none pursue it, and ye shall have no power to stand before your enemies.
No power to stand before your enemies. Israel will have no power to stand up to their enemies. They will be defeated time after time by the enemy, no matter if it's on or off the battlefield. The Israelites 9 times out of 10 would lose in battle. They were defeated by the Egyptians, Assyrians, Persians, Babylon, Greek, Rome, just to name a few. The book of Judges, there's a lot of captivities in there.
Oh, yeah.
They were exiled to other lands. Okay? Let's read Leviticus chapter 26. We're going to read verses 38, 41, and 44. Leviticus 26, 38, 41, 44. At the end of this, we're going to say, how can you break these bonds of captivity?
You can.
I'm going to show you. Verse 38, read.
And ye shall perish among the heathen, and the land of your enemies shall eat you up.
All right, let's skip down to 41.
And that I also have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies, and then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they then accept the punishment of their iniquity.
And 44.
And yet for all that, when they be in the land of their enemies, I will not cast them away, neither will I abhor them, to destroy them utterly, and to break my covenant with them. For I am the Most High their power.
So he's saying that even when you're in the land, you're not going to be set free. Worldwide dispersal. If you're a Hebrew Israelite, your history involves being dispersed all over the world. Jeremiah 49:32. Jeremiah 49:32, and let's read it.
And their camels shall be of a booty. Shall be a booty. And the multitude of their cattle a spoil. And I will scatter into the winds them that are in the valley, in the uttermost corners, and I will bring their calamity from all sides thereof, said the Most High.
Okay, take your time. All right, now Isaiah said that he would scatter Israel to the four corners of the earth. We are supposed to be among all nations of lands. Ahijah said Israel will be removed by force to these lands. Israelites have been brought captive into strange lands. The lands they reside in are not their homeland. It's another characteristic of Israelites. Sickness and disease. Okay? We had this scripture before, but let's get it again. Deuteronomy 28:59.
Then the Most High will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed even great plagues, and of long continence, and sore sicknesses, and of long continence.
Long continence meaning long face, sorrowful. Okay. Israel will be a disease-stricken people. They would suffer from all kinds of diseases. Israel will not be a healthy racial group. They have the highest rate of disease. Many diseases such as AIDS are common. Another feature of the Hebrew Israelites. So you know that Zebulun is Zebulun because the Zika virus that they're injecting people with.
Well, that's the same thing. Zebulun, Zika.
They're injecting,
And then what is the one for they did for Judah? Ebola, which means some kind of Hebrew or something.
Yeah, Ebola is Hebrew for sickness, I think.
Yeah. No, Ebola means Hebrew.
Yeah.
Israel has been put lower than any other race, becoming a byword or a proverb. We read this scripture before, but let's read it again. Deuteronomy 28:37.
And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the highest shall lead thee.
Okay. The children of Israel are the lowest among all people. They will be lower than all others in the matter of society. The Israelites are known to be scornful. They'll be called by all kinds of scornful names. We're going to have the meaning of these next week. Okay?
Of what, like the sicknesses or?
No, the meaning of
bywords.
Bener, where he came from. Israel will have to borrow from the stranger, but will be unable to lend to him. The stranger will be higher than Israel on social and a political ladder. You all good, Brother Damar?
Good.
All right, lost identity. Let's get Psalms 83, 1-4. Let's read it.
Keep not thou silence, O Ahijah, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Ahijah. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up thy head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us commune and remembrance of them from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more.
Take out the name of Israel so they'll lose their heritage. All right, so the Hebrew Israelite prophesied to lose their heritage and the knowledge of who they are. The enemies will wipe away their identity. True Israelites will lose their knowledge of their ancient forefathers. Oppressed. Deuteronomy 28:29 and verse 33. Let's read it.
And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways.
No prospering.
And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore. And no man shall save thee.
Verse 33.
The fruit of thy land and all thy laborers shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up. And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always.
All right. So Israel is going to be oppressed enemies will keep them under some kind of oppression. Israel will not profit in anything they set out to do. They will be a non-prosperous people, serving many gods. Let's just read Deuteronomy 28:36. You know what? Let's read verse 64 because we haven't read that one.
And the highest shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
All right? So the Hebrew Israelites are going to be a part of every kind of religion. There will be very little, if any, atheists among them. Not that many Hebrew Israelites are atheists. They will be in service to main gods in the land that they reside, wood and stone. They will serve old gods and new foreign gods, like crystal. That's a new one. It just came out, 3-4 years ago? Gods of the ancient forefathers had no knowledge of. This is another distinct character of modern and ancient Israelites. So basically, you're going to be in slavery. You're going to have no power. You're going to be exiled to other lands, scattered among all nations, sick and diseased, bottom of social classes, have no knowledge on who you are, packed the prison houses, never be prosperous, always be oppressed, and always be in all types of religions. Okay? These are the things that are true to modern and true Israelites. Okay? Fact is, if Europeans are Israel, then these characteristics should be a part of European culture, which they're not. Last section, how can we release ourselves from these curses? There is a way you can release yourself from these curses. First thing is to trust in the Most High. Okay? You have to trust in the Most High. So let's get 2 Samuel chapter 22, verse 3. 2 Samuel 22:3, and let's read it.
The Most High of my rock, in him will I trust. He is my shield and the horn of my salvation, my high tower and my refuge, my Savior. Thou savest me from violence.
So, the Most High, how you can start? Trust in the Most High. Alright? All those who put their trust in Father, He is your rock, shield, salvation, high tower, refuge, Savior. He will save you from violence. That's why it's important to serve the Most High and trust Him. He's a buckler for us. 2 Samuel 22:31. Let's read it.
As for Ahiah, his way is perfect. The word of the Most High is tried. He is a butler to all them that trust in him.
Buckler is like a belt. Okay? He is a buckler for all those who trust him. He is a shield, defense for those who trust in him. Being righteous. Psalms 4:5. Okay? Psalms 4:5. And let's read it.
Offer the sacrifices of righteousness and put your trust in the Most High.
Sacrifice of righteous. All those who trust in the Most High rejoice, be joyful.